killing time until it looks like more people are in the live. Hey, that's good. Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023. Oh my goodness, guys, this weekend flew by. I feel like I did not get enough done. Although, when I look back at it, I feel like I was actually pretty productive. My daughter had a climbing competition, her last one of the season that we went to. And that was a overnight travel type of event. And then I did finish putting out the CIM video that just came out maybe like half an hour ago. I think some of you guys have seen it already. I think it turned out okay. I was on the fence, and we could talk about it a little bit more. I was on the fence about how to edit that one, but I think it's kind of two videos kind of slapped together. But it makes sense because it's all from the same weekend. But overall, I'm really enjoying it. I'm happy with how it turned out. And then also, we decorated our house for the holidays, for Christmas. I mean, last year we did a lot, but most of it was interior. This year, I actually got up on the roof, put some lights on the exterior of the house. We put some lights on in the bushes and in the shrubs, and we even have one of those projectors. We bought some new inflatables. I mean, it's not a ton. We're not the best on the street. We're not even not in the best in the neighborhood. But for me, that's the first time I've decorated the outside of a house for the holidays. Last year I didn't because I came back from CIM and had a really bad cold. And then before I got better, it was already time to go to grandma's house. But this year we did it. So I feel pretty accomplished. And here we are. How are you guys? Let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast on the audio only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run today. I did not get in my run yet. Hopefully I'll do that right after the live stream. But I think the weather should be decent. Seasonal. So seasonable, seasonal, seasonable. It's unseasonably cold or unseasonably hot. But when it's regular, is it seasonable? Seasonal. Either way, hope you're having a good run out there and the weather's nice. And for everyone watching later but not live, you LBNLers, welcome to the number one podcast to listen to. While we do frequently argue about grammar. So that's the kind of running podcast that this is. Running nerds unite. Let's see which running nerds we got in here. All right. We got a lot of people. Luis is here, who's the first one in the chat, says, yo, what's going on? CJ Albertson 2 and Luis 0. Looks like he didn't want me to get the joy to brag about doing 2 marathons in 7 days. So CJ came to Mexicali, won there, and set the course record. So for those of you who don't know, both CJ Albertson and Luis ran CIM 2 weekends ago. And then this weekend, like 2 days ago, yesterday, both of them ran, was it the Baja Marathon? They ran another marathon. CJ beat Luis both times. So, Luis, I really thought that the second time you might have had a chance. I really thought that was your day, but CJ pulled it out at the end, I think. Calvin says, hi all, finally seem to be recovered from my cold and wasn't horrible, but so persistent respiratory-wise. Anyways, amazing CIM video, Mike. Well, thanks, and I'm glad to hear that you're better. And Mark says, I just realized I was third in my age group at my Thanksgiving 10K, so some sort of major award is coming in the mail today. Hopefully it's not a Fragile leg lamp. Mark, if it was a Fragile leg lamp, I think that would possibly be the best third place award to get for a 10K. It's probably not, but if you get it during the live stream, you will have to update us and let us know. All right, let's scroll down a little bit, see what else we got. Let's see. Martha says, I am one of the guilties about arguing about grammar. I was well-trained between school and parents. Yeah, my parents did a pretty good job of correcting my grammar, I guess. But I went to law school, so they have to do a lot of grammar. Everyone's ticky-tacky about writing when you get to law school. In unhelpful ways. And so I just argue about grammar a lot. Anyway, Terry says, evening, are we arguing about grammar again? I guess we are. Maybe. We haven't. I don't know. All right. Diggity DJ says, I ran a first half marathon myself Saturday, ran a 1:36:57 with 660 feet of elevation. Can't wait to do another. Well, congratulations, Diggity DJ. Great job. All right. And I think Talis Carafiello says, what's your goal time and pace for the Houston half? Goal pace is 6:30, and whatever time that is what that is. I don't know. I don't, from a math perspective, 6:26s would be the easiest, or 4 minutes per kilometer, because then every time I do a 5K check-in, it's just, am I on or off at 20 minutes? But I think that might be a little bit aggressive for me. So if I could do 6:30s, 6:30 to 6:35, that'd put me pretty close to my PR for the half marathon. So I feel like that's about where I'm going to be. Because I think my PR pace was 6:36 or something like that. So somewhere between 6:36 and 6:26 is what I'm going to be going for in Houston. Is that reasonable? Maybe. I think so. Maybe. We'll see. I don't do that many half marathon training blocks, so I don't have a real good sense in terms of my indicator workouts, how accurate they are or not. With the marathon, I feel like I have a couple of indicator workouts that let me know what's up. Half marathon, I'm less confident, so we'll have to see. All right. Jules says, hypothetical, if you were a shoe designer, which type would you love to design the most? Daily trainer, super shoe, etc.? I think my favorite would probably be to design a super shoe, because that's, pinnacle product. You're using the best materials. You're not really worrying about price point, although I'm sure in reality they're very concerned about price point. But your goal is to design the best, fastest shoe possible. And I just think that's cool. And I think form follows function. And so if you're building a fast shoe, it's going to look like a fast shoe. And, the rest kind of solves itself after that, I think. All right. Daniel Estrella says, did you have the same experience with Ben Johnson pacing at grandma's, or he stuck with you all the way? Ben stayed with me most of the way until at one point there was a time where I lost touch with him. And so I was there with Ben Johnson, and then I kind of knew Eric Floberg at that point when I ran grandma's. Like, I'd seen him at a bunch of races, and I knew he had a YouTube channel. He was mostly in his photography YouTube channel at that point, and I think just starting to make running YouTube videos at that point, if I'm remembering it correctly. And but anyway, like, I saw him at the starting line, because everyone always sees Eric Floberg at the starting line. I don't know how he does it. He's just one of those guys. And I was like, hey, we're going to go sub 3. Join us. He's like, yeah, all right, cool. And then I think at some point around like mile 7 or 8, I started not feeling good, and Eric took my pacer. Eric and Ben started running ahead. And then at that point I was like, no. This is normal. This is fine. I don't feel good, but like, either I'm going to keep pushing and I'll get over it, or it'll get even worse faster, and then I'll just know sooner. So I pushed through and I caught back up with them. Yeah, because he asked me if I wanted even pacing no matter what, or if I wanted to stay with him. And I think I had told him, like, hey, just do even pacing, and if I'm really far off, then you can come back and get me if you want. I was like, hey, you could also go too. But like, yeah, that's how I wanted to do it. So he wasn't like leaving me, and Eric wasn't stealing my pacer. We had already talked about that. But then there was another point later in the race where Ben was like, hey, you want me to hold your GoPro? It looks like it might be heavy. And I was like, no, it's fine. He's like, I'll get some video footage of you. And so I gave him my GoPro, and he took some video footage of me, and then he took off. I think he was like catching up to like the 3-hour pace. And then he was really far ahead of me, and it took me a while to catch up, and I was really freaked out. But that might have been the best motivation ever, is someone stole my GoPro. So that's kind of how it ended up working. With Ben and Megan at CIM, I haven't heard Megan's full recap. I think that's out today on the podcast for the drop. But I think at some point they had separated already by mile 10, and Ben was more than a minute ahead, I would say, at mile 10. And they caught back up again, and then Ben was going to work with her and try to bring her in. And then they separated again. I think they were a couple minutes apart at the finish. I don't remember how many minutes. But yeah, so then they separated again. So he tried to go back and get her. I think a couple times. So he's a good guy. All right, Kelvin says, Very late to the party, but got a shiny new PB at CIM 2 weekends ago. 3:03:07, 11-minute and 15-second PB. Kelvin, that's amazing. Great job. I mean, I think that CIM is kind of a hard course. I think Grandma's is way easier and more fun. Grandma's is much more expensive to go to. It's much more difficult to get to. But the course is a lot better. The weather, it may be more predictable at CIM. Yeah. Hillary Thornton says, just finished the CIM video. Another great one, Co. Thanks, Hillary. Thank you for watching. Stevie76 says, Casey and I ran the sub 3 in Tucson. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Citius Mag was reporting on that on Threads. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known about that. Has he not run sub 3 before? I feel like he's run sub 3 a bunch of times. I thought he was like a 250 guy. I don't think that's a PR, but it's still impressive. Jason Dahl says, I ran a 12K yesterday. Very interesting distance for a race. That's a very weird distance. How far is that? Oh, it's like a mile more than a 10K. Okay, I don't know. It's like a 7-mile race. Oh, that's a fun distance, though. Richard Wilson says, I'm late. Did we mention CJ running a 2:11 in Mexico 1 week after CIM? Yeah, we did. We just talked about it, too, on the Relay podcast. That'll be out tomorrow. And CJ's just built different. And the thing is, like, you know, people are probably like, well, you guys will just have to listen to the Relay podcast tomorrow. It's me, Tommy Runs, and Matt Chittum. So it's a pretty fun it's a littler group this time, but it's fun. We talk about it a little bit. So that's a fun one. But yeah, he's built different. I don't know how he does that. And I'm guessing it was warmer in Baja at that marathon in Mexico than it was at CIM. What's interesting is I felt hot during most of the day watching the race. And if you're warm as a spectator, then it's definitely a hot race. Because there's that stretch, there's a giant chunk, basically from like mile, I feel like 11 on, there's no sun cover. And if it's not cloudy, you're going to get cooked a little bit, even if it's not that hot. And I asked a bunch of people like how much the weather affected them. The only people that said the weather didn't affect them that I talked to were people from like Southern California. They were like, yeah, weather was good. Everyone else was like, it's hot. It was hot. My legs are wrecked. Arif Kazi says, yeah, CIM was definitely hot for me. It impacted me by a lot. I agree. I think that I think it was hot on that day. And everyone's, you know, what's funny is like, anytime I say like a marathon was hot, people are like, how hot was it? I'm like, I'm not going to answer that because you're trying to play some sort of measuring contest. And it's not the point. It was warmer than people wanted for ideal PR running conditions. And what also makes it obvious that it was a surprisingly hot day is if there's a lot of vomit at the finish line. Physiologically, I don't know why, but if there's a lot of vomit, it usually was hotter than people thought. And Hillary says, yeah, CJ's used to the heat. He lives in Central Valley of CA. Yeah, like he's like Fresno, right? So that's a hot area. That's always hot there, isn't it? Pretty much. Oliver Michael said, did CJ hide the shoes post-run or cut the tongue again? It didn't look like he cut the tongue. And I talked to Brooks about it like a couple of days earlier when I met with Brooks. And they said for the Hyperion Elite 4, CJ doesn't need to cut the tongue because they've changed the foot shape of it. They made it more accommodating. But like CJ crossed the line and immediately took his shoes off. Which I was like, in the Olympics, I understand why athletes do that. Because it's the only way you can kind of like talk about your sponsor when you're wearing like your team federation's kit, which may not be your sponsor's logos. But I wasn't sure why he took his shoes off right away. I mean, I want to take my shoes off right away, no matter how much I love my shoes when I'm done with the marathon. So I'm not going to read anything negative into it. But it was pretty funny that he took his shoes off right away. And then I think I told you guys about this the other day. But like he crosses the line. No one else is coming across the line for a couple minutes. and it's like strangely quiet. So I'm like, I thought people would be like, great job, CJ, or good job. Or people, I thought maybe there was a bunch of reporters and photographers standing by me. I thought they would be peppering him with questions because he's not going anywhere. He's just standing there waiting for number 2 and number 3 to come in so they get that like kind of like the podium photo. So he's just standing around waiting with no shoes on. And I'm like, hey, CJ, how's the shoes? And he just gave me a thumbs up. And then he turned around. So I'm going to say that's good. From another athlete, I might feel like that kind of curtness maybe does not bode well. But from CJ Albertson, it's hard. You know, he's a different kind of guy. I feel like I believe him. Will Willing says, Boston 12 for women on sale at Adidas for $64. Are the Boston unisex shoe? I don't believe that they are, although I'm not sure other than the colors as to how they would be different. It's the weird thing about running shoes. Sometimes there's men's and women's sizes, and a lot of times they're not different except for the colors that are offered. And then other times on paper it seems like they're not different other than the colors that are offered, but then padding might be a little bit different. Weights are going to be different, even when you get like the same size. You know, the reported weights are different. Like they use a bigger shoe to report men's weight than women's weight. So the weights will always look different. But even if you have the same size shoes, sometimes the women's are lighter. Most brands have gone away from making the men's and women's very different. I don't know if Brooks still does it, but Brooks used to have different drops for the Ghost, depending on if it was men's and women's. Asics used to have different stack heights and drops for shoes like the Cumulus for their shoes. Now I think it's just different stack heights. So there could be some differences. Luis says for the Baja Marathon, it was almost the same weather as CIM, but drier. Ooh, that sounds actually really nice. Ken Hulin says, CIM video is great. Just watch it. Well, thank you very much. I wish I could have got that one done sooner. But, you know, I had a busy weekend and a busy week too. Ugh, things have been busy around here. So it's just a lot, you know. JC says, what would you say is the max number of miles to run at pace in a training run for a marathon? For me, that's about 10. I've done one. There are some like Jack Daniels runs where it's ridiculous, where the long run is like 8 miles at marathon effort, and then 1 mile at half marathon effort, and then 3 more miles at marathon effort. Basically 12 miles at marathon effort or faster. I just feel like that's way too much. It's crazy. I like 10 is the most that I'll do. I think, though, if I were faster, then I might do more. So for me, 10 miles at marathon effort is like, you know, less than 70 minutes. So maybe the right answer is about an hour is a good number. Joe Carter says, Cohen fam, you do a good job of hyping up CIM and then talking me out of it. What, all the vomit talk that wasn't enticing? You can register now, by the way. It's not sponsored. I'm not a CIM ambassador or anything. But registration is open, by the way. Maddie Mac says, you know, I feel so bad for Meg. Heck of a year, though. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. She went into it. I didn't really get I didn't have a chance to specifically talk to her about her mindset going into it. But you know, she had a really big, audacious goal, coming into it. And I feel like she might not have been targeting those paces if she had, say, another year, you know? And so I think she kind of knew that going into it from the beginning. And her coach is Andrew Castor, so I'm sure he's pointed that out to her a couple of times. But they went for it. They trained as hard as they could. They got her as fit as she could be. And they full send, you know? And that's why we're proud of her. You know what I mean? Because even when it might not have seemed like it was possible, they still went after it, you know. And Richard Wilson says, Meg was calling it a moonshot. I think she knew it wasn't a given. Yeah. Steve agrees, saying Meg called it a moonshot. Yeah. Alf Dickinson says, what pace or effort are you doing your 6 times 6 minutes with 1 minute rest workouts at? Threshold pace or hour race pace. I'd like to think that I can hold. Right now I'm averaging about 625s to 620s, maybe closer to 625 for my mile repeats, air quotes, for my 6 minute threshold repeats. And do I think I could hold that for an hour? Maybe I could hold that for. So threshold pace for me, in my opinion, is 40 to 60 minutes race pace. So maybe I'm closer to the 40 minutes side of that. For example, like I've only raced like 2 10Ks in my life, but I've never gotten under 40. Now the last time I raced a 10K was before 2019, I think. So it's due for an update as well. But yeah, so I think that's closer to like 40-minute pace. Or maybe it's right in the middle. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what come Houston. You know, it's not that far out. All right. Let's get to the box today. Today, the box is from Janji. Our friends over at Janji. I don't know what's in here, but we'll have to take a look. I saw a lot of really nice pieces while I was in Austin at the Janji booth, but I'm guessing this is stuff that's available now, so it's probably not what I just saw. Let's see. And you know what's nice? They put a little protective piece of cardboard in there so I didn't accidentally cut through it all. So that's nice. Okay. Yeah, see, this is timely stuff, I could tell already. First thing we got in here is updated set of mittens. Now, I have a pair of these in navy already, but it's good to have another pair. Now, these are 2-in-1s. So they are mittens, but they are also glovies. So you can cover them up if it's windy or wet. And then these tuck in somewhere. Where do they tuck in? If you don't need to have the rain flaps on. I usually just never tuck them in. I just leave them with the mitten part on top. All right. I got a lot of things in here. We got another. This is the men's Run All Day Tech Tee. Now, I think this might be the same model. I think it is. The same model shirt as the Janji La Sportiva collab, but it's just in black. And a just black tech tee is something that I can always use another one of. And this one has the new reflective Janji logo in the back on the left-hand side. And a reflective Janji over the chest on the left. So that's nice. Run the World says, where'd it go? I love Janji. Yeah, they do really nice work. All right, next one is called the Men's Atlas Multi-Pant. Let me see, check these out. They always put all their things, they roll them up and tie them. This is a nice pair of pants. They've got a zipper pocket in the back. It's a little bit tight for a phone, but if you got a small enough phone, it'll fit. And then zipper pockets on each side. And then zipper on the hems on the legs for easy on off. And then a reflective logo on the back. So these are a nice pair of pants. A reflective logo on the right-hand thigh. There we go. Oh, look at this. Oh, I see. I thought I had these pants, but I do not have a pair of pants like this. They might have updated them. There's also pockets all along the back. Let's see. We got one. Oh, this is deep too. Look how deep it goes. 1, 2. This is just one big one. And then 3. So you got 3 big pockets along the back as well. This would be a good kind of like wintry trail running pant. You can store a lot of stuff in there. The material is not lined, so it's a little bit on the thin side, but depending on what you need, that might be just perfect. What's a small enough phone? I don't have my phone here. I have an iPhone 13 mini. I know that fits in my other pants that look just like that. It's not super comfortable though. I don't know if you could get a bigger phone in there. I'll have to double check on that. My wife has a regular phone. I think she has an iPhone. I don't know what phone she has. She has a regular size phone, not a mini. All right, this is the men's Boreal Fleece Tight. This is perfect. I was just looking through all my wardrobe and I was like, I could use some more black tights. And these are fleece. I don't think I have fleece tights from Janji. Ooh. I have many tights from Janji. None of them are fleece. So the fleece on here looks like it's pretty warm. It's almost like they're padded pants. These are going to be really warm pants. And the fleece goes almost all the way to the end. It feels like it thins out as it gets to the end, or maybe that's just me imagining it. But they're kind of like almost like a double knee sewed here. But it's just a big pocket. Zipper pockets on each side. And side pockets too, so you can put some gels in there for quick access. Zipper and put away the stuff that you're not going to need during the run. And then no pockets in the back. So you are still getting 4 pockets. Some reflective accents, but I like this stitching over here. This is nice. I like that. These are going to get a lot of use for sure. Sean Devlin says, tights with that brushed fleecy interior are the best on the coldest days. They sure are. Here's the only thing though. If you wear them on just a regular cold day though, they get hot so fast. So they're very, very warm. I have a pair of Asics ones that have a similar type of fleece. It's even thicker than that though. Most of the times when I end up wearing it, I feel like my legs are just wet the whole time. This is, I feel like, a little bit thinner. I think I'm going to like that one a little bit more. So I like that one. And Michael Lai says, those tights are by far my favorite. Picked them up a few months ago from REI. Nice. Looking forward to it. All right, I think this is the last thing in the bag. I think these match the gloves. Ooh, this is soft. This is the men's, I thought it said thermonuclear. It says men's thermal runner insulated jacket in winter flux is the name of the color. So it's kind of like got a mock neck on here. It's kind of puffy, so I thought maybe there was an interior hood, but I don't think that there is. It's just puffy. Got a chest zipper over here. And it's kind of got some padding to it, a little bit. So I like this a lot. There's some cinched drawstrings on the interior, zipper pockets on each side, on the exterior. I like this a lot. It's kind of like Janji's been making a lot of clothes that are kind of like camo, but they're not camo. And I'm absolutely loving it. These gloves and this jacket go together. Like if I go running in the woods, you're not going to see me. You're not going to see me. Good luck trying to find me. Here's a problem though. It's hunting season. So I'll have to wear my blaze orange hat when I put this on. Otherwise, I might be mistaken for wildlife. Let's see what else we got here. Eliza says you gotta model the full outfit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a pant that goes with it. Do you think there's a pant that goes with it? If there's a pant that goes with it, I'll buy the pant and I'll wear it all together. Sleeve Singer says, I like it. It's earthy ombre. I love it. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Luke Klein says it's duck season. Eric says it's open Janji season. And Michael I says there is a pair of pants that matches it. All right, so I'll have to go order the pants. I'll put them all on together so you guys can see. If there's a hat too. I don't know why I like that kind of stuff. It's so funny. All right. Miguel Aponte says, hey, Co, long-time lurker, but it just ran my first half marathon ever in Dallas yesterday and beat my A goal pace of under 240. Congratulations, Miguel. That's fantastic news. I haven't seen too much on social media about the Dallas Marathon and half marathon. But it's a race I've got my eye on. You guys, we've been talking about it here. And I don't know, maybe next year. I've been talking to my wife about it. What should I do next year? As much fun as I had at CIM, next year is not in the OTQ window, or it won't be. So it either could be a really fun year to run it, but there's still the whole matter of TRE. And there's so many of you that go. So I feel like it's good to see everyone there. But I also would love to go to Valencia. I'd also love to see Dallas. But then it's hard to say no to CIM, And Calvin says there's a hat too. Okay. So I don't know where my pencil is. And I wrote a note on this piece of paper last time. It just says Friday, 12 o'clock, MIN. I don't know what that means. I think I'm supposed to buy something at Friday at 12. I don't know. But I wrote a note earlier. I don't remember what it says. I'm just going to cross it out. But now I got to buy Janji. Let's call it ombre, camo, hat, and pants. I got to get those. Okay. Sick of it all says, I grabbed the Autumn Flux tights and had the same thought about hunting season. They are advertised as trail tights. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be a problem. But, out here, hunting season is very well defined, at least in suburban Chicago. In Iowa, hunting season seems to be like all the time. And it's like around here. So Moraine Hills is a park that I go to. They had signs saying like, this park will be closed unless you are hunting on these days. In Iowa, it's like, just so you know, hunters are out. It's hunting season. You can still go to the park and run if you want, but there's hunters. And they get really mad if you spook their quarry or whatever it is that they're hunting. I don't know. Sean says, what would Kavuzi's G.I. Joe codename be if he sports the full Janji outfit? I obviously am going to be Snake Eyes. Like that's like the best G.I. Joe character. I wouldn't look like him necessarily, but like if I'm going to be a G.I. Joe character, that's the one I want to be named. And Oliver says, we had perfect weather yesterday in Dallas for the marathon. 40 degrees and sunny skies. That does sound pretty nice. I mean, it depends on how sunny, but 40 degrees sounds like a good running temp. And Jason Dahl says, a buddy of mine ran Dallas yesterday and his watch died at mile 13th. So I told him the race does not count. That's how you scare people. They're like, what? What do you mean? Martha says, I still remember the blue camo outfit co-received that included hat, top, and pants. Forget who made that one. That was Say Sky. And that was a fun outfit. I enjoyed that one. JC said he had lots of friends that ran Dallas half marathon. Great weather, but the new course ran long and was hillier on some city streets in poor condition. Oh, really? It was a new course and it was long? Oh, boy. Who else posted that they raced this weekend and they ran a race where they were in the lead pack and like the bicycle or that rides with the lead pack directed them the wrong way and they went long. I'm trying to remember who that was. I don't know. Mark Peterson says, if I were a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character, I'd be. A long time ago, I would have said Michelangelo because he's the one. They all love eating pizza, but Michelangelo seems to love eating pizza the most. But now that I'm older, I feel like obviously I'm a Splinter. All right, coming along is the running shoe question of the day. Let's go. He says, what midsole experience is softer? Deviate Nitro 2 or Boston 11? I love the Light Strike Pro, but definitely don't love regular Light Strike, even 2.0. I say the Deviate Nitro 2 is a lot softer. It's just far superior. I think in my review video, I said that the Deviant Nitro 2 is what the Boston should be, or what future Bostons should aspire to be. I love the Deviant Nitro 2. JC said for Dallas, it was not a totally new course, but some significant changes, and most people came in at 13.4 or more miles. That is a bit long, but like they are supposed to, I mean, yeah, they're supposed to measure these things. If they're USATF certified courses, they're supposed to be measured, but also there's the possibility that they might have measured the course one way, and then the people that set out the cones might have done something different on accident. And then there's always the story of the Milwaukee Marathon. I don't remember. There's 2 Milwaukee Marathons. I don't know which one it is, but they like mismeasured it like 3 years in a row. And in that interim time, they even switched like race organizers. Like a different race director company took over, and they still got it wrong another year. And then the pandemic happened, and I don't know if that race ever came back. And Calvin says, first question, Deviant Nitro 2 versus Boston 12. Doesn't matter which Boston. Deviant Nitro 2 is a better Boston than any of the recent Bostons. Daniel Burton wants to know, are you going to go see the new Wonka movie? I love a good prequel. Prequels are some of my favorite. I'll always take a prequel over a sequel. But I just don't see that many movies. I probably will see it on an airplane. Or if my kids want to watch it. That might be the only way. But I just don't go to watch movies. Oh, Martha says, I think one is the Milwaukee Marathon and the other is a Lakefront Marathon. And I seem to recall the latter is the better one. You're right on Milwaukee Marathon versus Lakefront Marathon. And I can even see like the font that the two marathons use in my head now that you mentioned that. I don't remember which one is the better one. And going back to the Willy Wonka movie, Crunchy says the Wonka movie looks fun. It does look good. The trailer looks interesting, but you know, trailers always look interesting. But that one does look nice. Vanessa says the prequels are iffy. The Thing prequel is horrible. The original Thing is a masterpiece. I don't think I've seen either one. I just like backstories. I like origin stories a lot. You know, I don't know what it is about me, but I just really like origin stories. So, yeah, maybe that's why I like prequels. I mean, it's not like I love the Star Wars prequels, so that's an exception, I guess. So, which prequels do I like? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I actually can't even name any, but I don't know. In my mind, I like prequels more than I like sequels. All right, Mark says, all right, the Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee is pretty solid. Very fun tour. Just making fun of Miller the whole time. Okay, I thought we were going to talk about the Lakefront Marathon. I'm trying to think if I've been to Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee. I don't know. I've been to a bunch. It is a brewing town. It's weird that they make fun of Miller the whole time, though. I mean, it's just part of the city's heritage, you know? Lala P says, that happened at the Long Beach Half Marathon. They put a cone a bit too far out, and we all ran over 13.4. See, I think that's what happened. That happens at Ben Parks one time, too. Probably more than one time, because he just races so much. But I remember he was at, like, I think that there was a race that was at, like, a car racetrack. And, like, there was a bicycle that was supposed to lead the men in this 10K he ran. And it either turned around one cone too early or there was many cones laid out, and the bike was supposed to like do the course and then double back and then go out to a cone and then turn around. And I don't remember if they went too far or too early, but that's how it happened for Ben. And he's like, I don't know how I ran. The course distance was wrong, you know. Kurt Siege says, speaking of prequels, are we talking about the Hunger Games prequel? I haven't seen it, but was curious about it. I didn't know that there was a Hunger. I remember. I mean, I remember seeing commercials about something Hunger Games. I didn't realize that was a prequel. That's interesting. I like that. I'll probably go watch that. I don't know that I've seen any of the Hunger Games movies from beginning to end, though. I'm familiar with the general gist of it all, and I've watched one of them most of the way through, probably the first one. But yeah, I don't think I've seen. I don't think I've seen all of them. I keep waiting for my daughter to ask me to watch them. Tony says, what's going on, Tony? He says, X-Men Origins was a good one. I don't know if I've seen that one, to be honest with you. A lot of the X-Men movies, after a while, I was like, have I seen that one? What's the order? That's the only thing. I guess that just makes me old. Like, anytime that there's another movie, whether it's of the X-Men family or whether it's DC or Marvel, I'm just like, where does this fit in the timeline? I need to know where it fits in the timeline first. Not that it really matters, but the main thing is I was just like, which one should I watch first? I had the same problem, and here's how out of touch I am. I was sitting on an airplane. I forget where I was going, but it was a long flight. And one of the options on the airplane, like the tablet in the seat in front of you, which I'm kind of not a fan of, because then everyone's poking the screen, and then I feel it when I'm sitting in the seat. But anyway, it's usually like, browse by genre, alphabetically, new releases. One was Cruisin'. And it was just all Tom Cruise movies, and there was like 4 Mission Impossibles, and I'm like, I don't know which one of these I've seen. And they're not numbered. Or like after 3, they stopped numbering them or something like that, right? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know which one I watched. So I just went like left to right, and I think I watched 2. Between the going there and the coming back flights, I watched 3 Tom Cruise movies, I think. Sean Devlin says, if you put me in a dark room with recliners, I fall asleep during every movie. That's a problem that I have when we watch movies at home. I just don't go to movies in person. My kids are still younger. That's probably, we don't have the same like taste in movies. And a lot of times when I go to see kids' movies, grandma takes them. And so I intentionally don't go because I want that to be grandma time. So like there's a couple of even kids' movies that I'm like, I haven't seen that. It took me a long time to watch the live action Little Mermaid, which I didn't love. It was okay. I'm just so tied to the original. But like, yeah, there's just a lot of kids' movies. Like I keep wanting my daughters to be like, watch, like neither of them want to watch like the live action Mulan. I'm like, does anyone want to watch that? No. Instead, it's always like, let's watch Frozen again. Which Frozen is a good movie. I do like that one. I think I like Frozen 2 better than Frozen 1. But, and either that or they want to watch High School Musical. And we'll have a High School Musical marathon in our house. I've watched those movies so many times. So I don't know. I end up watching weird movies. Lou says Mulan live action was a stinker. Oh, that's disappointing. Okay. Eric says Rogue One was the second best Star Wars of the entire franchise. I really liked it. I did like Rogue One. I'm kind of bummed that they're not going to do more of the spin-off movies. But I think that they've just shifted that strategy and they're putting that into the Disney Plus series. Is kind of what it seems like. I don't know. I liked Solo a lot. I was hoping for many Solos, but I don't think that one was well received. I felt like Solo had the energy of an Indiana Jones movie, just set in a fantasy, in a space, setting instead of an archaeological setting. Eric says, I love Andor. I love Andor too, but I'm so annoyed that they call it Andor. It's an imaginary place that they could have named anything, but like there's now Andor and then there's also Endor, which I just feel like that's 2 similar names that sound too similar together. Let's separate them out a little bit. And New Betra says, my kids are endlessly watching Descendants and Zombies, and it's killing me. First Zombies was awesome. Third Zombies, man, they were really phoning that one in. That was not a good one. That one was weird. I didn't like that one. But the Descendants series, I've been enjoying. Again, the first Descendants was the best one. After that, they've been getting not as good. But I do like the Descendants movies, and I do like the Zombies movies. There are worse things that they could be watching, I think. Or like more annoying things that they could be watching, you know? Yeah, Calvin says, Andor isn't Cassian's name, though. Yeah, I understand it, but like the name of the series, you know, so it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I know it's not his name, but it's like, it's another name in the universe that I feel like, yes, it's certainly possible, and in many ways, very realistic that things will sound similar. But I feel like the moon of Endor should be different from an entire than the name or the title of an entire other series. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too picky. Let's see. Vanessa wants to know, are your girls into the Halloween Town or Twitches movies? They're not familiar with those. Maybe they'll like those. I don't know. I've never heard of them. And where'd it go? Someone said something about Sage running in Honolulu. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, video says Sage candidate with a 2:31 and 7th overall in Honolulu Marathon over the weekend. Good to see him do well after the health scares. Yeah, 2:31. That's a pretty good time. Because it's hot in Hawaii. It's humid, so it's not ideal race conditions. Even if you do start in the middle of the night on that race, that's pretty cool. What was the winning time? I feel like that's also not a very flat course. Am I right on that? I don't know. His video though of the mile race, I feel like that's the real event of the weekend. The mile, is it the Merry Mile in Hawaii, or Hawaii Marathon weekend? That one is fun. I was actually talking to Hobbs Kessler about it because I met him at TRE and we went for the run on the shakeout run with the Loop running company. It's not called running company, but the running store called the Loop. And he was telling me how he's going to go to Hawaii. I'm like, oh, you're running the mile again? Because he's run it before. And he's like, yeah, it's really fun. I've been done it. He's like, I think I've done it a couple times. And I was like, man, that thing's like a Pro Bowl. Like all the fast runners go, but it's not like, it's competitive because you guys are competitive, pro athletes and milers. But it's not like a world championship event. You know, it's not a Diamond League meet. It's a road mile. But fast people go, it's kind of competitive just because of the caliber of the people that go. But it's also in Hawaii, so I feel like it's a Pro Bowl. And I kind of just want to hang out. I'm like, I wonder where all the athletes are hanging out. And I just want to crash the party. But I didn't get an invite, so, you know, I guess I wouldn't be crashing. I guess it wouldn't be crashing the party if I had an invite. But either way, I don't know where they all hang out. Akli says, hi, sir. Upon watching your Tokyo Marathon way back in April, I started running from 1K 2 weeks ago. Finished my first, and I started running from 1K. And 2 weeks ago, I finished my first marathon. Congratulations. That's awesome. And he says, thanks for inspiring me halfway across the globe. Well, congratulations to you on finishing your first marathon. And if you started running in April and you just ran a marathon, that's amazing. That's incredible progress. Good job. Video says, yeah, the Merry Mile is cool. Men chasing the women in a sprint finish. Honolulu Marathon winner was 2:15 from Kenya. And the women's winner was 2:33 from Kenya. Yeah, see, that's a tough course then. 2:15 as a men's winning time. That's got to be a tough course. Daniel Britton says the mile race was awesome. It always is. And I do love the staggered start that they do. So the men are chasing the women down and it's a winner take all. Then there's a bonus, whether you're a man or a woman that finishes. But you're out in the Goose. Had an incredible run. Almost broke Hobbs Kessler's recently ratified road mile world record. I think Hobbs ran at 3:56 or 3:55, something like that. I think it was a 3:56. And Yared almost beat that in the mile. And he beat all the women, too. But, like, Yared Naguse was in there. I think Joe Klecker was in it. Mason Furlick, Hobbs Kessler, Centro was there for the men. I'm trying to think. I know I just forgot a bunch of men. But then, like, Alperier St. Pierre, Danny Jones, Michelle Smith, or Snyder, and Nikki Hiltz. There was just a lot. There was just so many runners. So many runners that you know. You know what I mean? So, fun event. I'd love to see it in person someday. I mean, maybe that's the play. Next year, we go from Thanksgiving, and I take the kids. It's hard to miss school this time of year, though, because you already have so little school. But then again, there's little school, so why not just go to Hawaii? I don't know. I got to figure it out. Kurt says, I was just listening to Ali on the Runs podcast with Elle St. Pierre when she was talking about it. The Gate River Run also has the men and women, and they took time away because Emily Sisson kept winning. I feel like next time, the men went so fast because of Yared Naguse, and Hobbs Kessler came in narrowly in second. I don't know who came in third. Did Centro come in third? But they had the women by quite a bit. They gave him 30 seconds this time. Maybe they'll give him 31 or 32 next time. Luke Klein says, thoughts on Shohei Ohtani joining the Dodgers? I have no idea about that. I saw it on the news today, but I was like, what was it, like 10 years, $700 million or something like that? That's a lot of money. Is it 70 for 10 years or 70? I don't know. Either way, I remember looking at it. It was a lot of money. There were 7s and 10s in there. And Calvin says, for the Hawaii Marathon, it looks like it's mostly flat, but huge hilly sections. It drops 125 feet in a mile at mile 25. Drops, though. I like that. I like the sound of that. But that means it also probably... Is it a point-to-point? I thought it was a looped course. So that means it goes up that much, too. Right? Yeah, Luis says... So that contract was $700 million for 10 years. Who's going to be the first billion-dollar athlete? I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, a baseball player is making that much money, and meanwhile, in track and field, many pro athletes still have regular jobs. Not to say that they're the same sport. They're very different sports, but, I don't know. And Mark says, I did the math. Shohei can afford Chipotle every 5 seconds over the next 10 years. That's a lot of Chipotle. That's more Chipotle than a Chipotle can make, That's, wow, crazy. Lou Klein says, $1 billion athlete? They're not playing yet. Probably not. But I mean, like, how long ago would you have thought, yeah, there'll probably be a guy that makes $700 million over 10 years? Oh, okay. Kurt says, the men was Naguse, Siete, Kessler, Bielscombe, and Romo. Central was last for the men. I was like, whoa. I saw it was from Sage's video. I thought it was Centro for some, but it must have been Siete, or I don't know how to say that name. I've never seen it before. I'm not familiar with that athlete, but I saw the C on the name bib. Maybe that's what got me. Yeah, Calvin says, Japan does the pro running thing correctly. Runners have quote-unquote day jobs, but the company sponsors training gear and races and make it make sense. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when the U.S. Postal Service and UPS, like during the Olympics, like the UPS has like their Olympic athletes, right? I think they technically work there. I mean, here's the irony, is that in the U.S., like Nike has athletes that work there, but they're not the sponsored athletes, kind of like, even if you think about like Nick Willis, he's running, but he also has a job at Tracksmith, so I don't know. And Kurt says, for results on the women's side, it was Hiltz, Tanaka, Kaladi, Ehor, Smith, St. Pierre, Jones, Lipari. I mean, that's an impressive lineup right there, All right. Daniel Burton says, who's the highest paid runner? I'd say right now the highest paid runner is probably, I was going to guess Suguru Osako. Maybe not. Otherwise, it's probably Kipchoge. Or who else would it be? Noah Lyles. Is Noah Lyles the highest paid runner? It being a sprinter would make more sense to me. But then I'm not sure. I don't know. Those are some names that would jump to the top of my list. What do you guys think? Yeah, Video 6 Noah Lyles too. And Calvin said ever of the athletes would be Usain Bolt. Yeah, but was that all? I think Usain Bolt maybe, but not all Puma money, And Luke Klein says, Lyles is very much in demand. He sure is, but is he getting paid for that demand, Shannon thinks it might be Jakob Ingebrigtsen. That's a good one. I think that, here's the hard thing, though. I think that unless you're you don't have to be a native English speaker, but unless you're a really good English speaker, if not training in the U.S., I don't think you're going to be the top. Then again, I guess Kipchoge is not training in the U.S., but he does speak English really well. Jakob also speaks English really well. I don't know. But I think that would be a good, from Europe, I think that'd be good. Who do you think is paid more, Jakob or Femke Bol? I would say probably Femke Bol because she's a woman, probably gets paid less. But I feel like, if I could see one of the two of them race, I don't know. I'd say an even harder one would be like Femke Bol or Karsten Warholm, because then you got the 400-meter hurdle runners. And that'd be pretty amazing to watch in Europe. But Jakob over Femke Bol? I don't know. I've seen Femke Bol race a couple of times, and I've never seen Jakob race. Have I? No, I don't think I have. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe I did at Eugene. I think maybe I saw him run a heat in Eugene. I'm not sure. But a lot of you guys are voting for Femke Bol. You'd rather watch her run. Dave says, Femke, the championship was insane. The mental strength. Budapest was amazing. Calvin says, who's the highest female paid runner? Is it Sydney McLaughlin? I would say probably, yeah. Oops. Just kicked the camera. That'd be my guess. I have no way of knowing any of this stuff. But I would say probably. Is she? I don't know. Is that where all those New Balance dollars are going? Count says, what about Faith Kipyegon this year? Because 3 world record prizes, pot money? Oh, that's true. And I'm sure her Nike contract has big fat bonuses for winning majors. Yeah. Yeah, that could be high. That could be real high because that prize money is good. But I'm like, I mean, if you're talking about just like regular sponsor contract money, or are you talking about like, well, I guess like what's different is like in ball sports, like you get your money from your team, but then you can also make a lot of money from other sponsors. But in running, there's only other sponsors. So I have no idea how high that could be, Shannon says that Allison Felix is the most, maybe historically, I don't know about now. Probably still now, though. I don't know. Shannon says, I love how we're making our own Trivia Tuesday. This is a fun Trivia Tuesday. I wish there was a way I could get the answers for you. but I don't know. But maybe I can figure out those answers. Maybe I'll just Google it, and the answers will be whatever Google gives us. Dave says, you know what? We need a billionaire to get bored and buy a running team like they do in football. Wouldn't that be great? Or maybe that would be miserable. Because if you think about it, like, can you name, I guess, is there a professional sports team owner that isn't horrible? I'm thinking about like the Cubs, the Bears, the Bulls, the Clippers. You know what I mean? Yankees. Green Bay is owned by Wisconsinites, though, I guess. So is that I don't know. But billionaire owners. Let's go to billionaire owners. I don't know. Like, Magic Johnson owns some team, has ownership stakes in teams, doesn't he? Yeah. So I feel like that's fine. Richard Wilson is the Mavericks guy. Mark Cuban. Is he? I feel like he's maybe neutral. Not evil, not good. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But video says, you know what? The Ineos CAO is the guy. He did the second sub-2 for Kipchoge. He does Formula 1 and cycling. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I've never really understood, Ineos. And Luke Klein says, Cuban just sold. Oh, did he? Interesting. And Richard Wilson says about Cuban, he set up that cheap prescription drug company, and I call him pretty good. See, that's the thing that I do find is good. Everything else, I'm like, billionaire doing billionaire things. But the prescription drug thing was pretty solid. And Dave says, trust me, UK Premier League is worse. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like that would be. Isn't that what we have though? We've basically got Phil Knight doing whatever he wants with USA Track and Field, and then it's not working out great for a lot of people. It's great for some people, I guess, but so I don't know. Ivan says Magic has some ownership in the Commanders as well. I don't know. Maybe Magic needs to own a running team. I don't know how that would work. What does ownership of a running team even look like? Like team boss, like owning a team like that, or like owning a team like Naz Elite, or just saying like or like if someone were a billionaire to say like I'm setting up Super League for triathlon, but for running. Isn't that what ATL is? Or is that American Track League? Is that what that is? I don't know. Kurt says, I promise, if I win one of those $1 billion lotteries, I will try. Same, dude. Same. I think I probably would try too. I would probably try to have like just to annoy everybody. Influencer wins $1 billion lottery ticket and sets up influencer professional running team. That'd be the most obnoxious thing I think I could probably ever do. It'd be fun. I don't know that they wouldn't want to run for it, but that would be fun. That'd be fun to do. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. You guys think about what you're going to do with your billionaire winnings next time you win Powerball. And let's circle back tomorrow. Someone asked if we play trivia tomorrow. I'm going to say probably not because I'm just swamped. I'm still catching up after TRE and CIM. So we'll try to do trivia this week, but it won't be on Tuesday. Sound good? All right. Tomorrow there won't be any video. Go and check out the CIM video. I like to think it's pretty good. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.